How's it going, guys? Hope everyone had a good start to the week. Traded lower size today, which felt really, really good. Um, I don't think I'm going to continue trading lower size. It's just based on confidence. I'll go into what I did, why I did it, stuff like that. But anyways, I hope you guys had a good Tuesday. Um, some of you that have been watching have seen me wearing Real Madrid jerseys. There is a Champions League final on Saturday. Super hyped for that. So my mind is a little bit preoccupied with just thinking about that Champions League final because honestly, I'm a very, very, very big Madrid fan. Like, I never think anyone can really announce themselves as the biggest fan because I know I'm not. I know there's bigger fans. But, I'm definitely in the top 1%. So, very big final. Very excited for that. That's besides the point. Let's get into the markets. Honestly, today was a pretty fun day. Wasn't like an amazing monetarily. Is that the word? Monetarily. Wasn't an amazing day for, my funded account. I'm barely positive, pretty much like a break even. But since we traded small size, the amount I made in relation, it was all right. It wasn't anything crazy. So we'll get into the day and why I thought it was such a nice day. And you can see the markups. This is a really, really, really clean looking chart. And even I just saw this. So we have this accumulation right there. We manipulate the highs. We have an SMT. We had an SMT from here. I like the draw from here. And we get the distribution. So that's a very clean model there. Just this original consolidation. We sell off to the lows. We take out all the lows. If we look, that was Asia low, London low. We took out both. And we took out New York's low from Monday, which is that even... I didn't know that even traded yesterday, to be honest. The 28, 27. Okay, I guess we traded, but London had a low. So we take out London low, which was the more important one. But yeah, so we had this accumulation. We had manipulation, so power of three played out nice. On the 1 minute, since this is a 1 minute, this was in a 1 hour for value gap as well. This bearish is 1 hour. But there was no real setup to the downside, which is fine. I'm not looking to trade that specifically. That's not my model. But I do know that original consolidation becomes a draw on liquidity over here. And look at this. Before I get into the trade, look at this. We have this original consolidation, power 3, dump down, take out the lows, this reversal, all this price action, and look at the trade that I ended up capitalizing on. Look at this, a 15-point trade. A 15-point trade after this entire move is 96 points. All you need is a piece of the pie. You don't need everything. You don't need the whole move. Look at what I capitalized on. Again, didn't make a crazy amount. I traded lower size. I'll get into that again. But look at the trade I took. It's just it's a little move because I waited for all of this to tell me that this is going to happen, right? Down here, I don't know it's going to bounce from here, right? Obviously, buying along right here would have been genius hindsight, but no one knows to get in there based on the strategies that I trade. It is what it is, right? You get this SMT, boom, you push up, hold, whatever. Everything leads up to this moment here. So this 15-point move was the accumulation of, how long did we wait for this move? From 9:30 to 10:30, that's 1 hour. 11:30, almost 2 hours. It took 2 hours to set up this one 15-point move. And and the thing about 15 points is it is infinitely scalable. On one micro, 15 points, that's $30, right? Big deal, $30. 2 micros, $60, right? Starting to talk a little bit, $60. 3 micros, $90, right? Wait, no, it's not $90. 15 points, okay, hold up, bear with me. 15 points. I'll just do it on my phone here because this is worrying that I'm struggling. It's hard with basic math. 15 times 2. One contract, it's $30. On 2 contracts, that's 60. 3 contracts, that's 90. 4 micros, that's 120. On 5 micros, that's $150. Nothing wrong with that. One full contract, that's $300. Nothing wrong with that. Now let's start talking about 2 contracts. That's $600, right? Let's talk about the people that trade 5 contracts, right? And that's not even the craziest it goes. That's $1,500. This trade right here, for the same person that could be $30, this could be $1,500. And that is the beauty in skill, not money, right? The skill of trading is getting this 15 points. The money of trading is how big did you size, right? Can you size 5 contracts? Some people can trade 5 contracts as their small size, right? Some people 5 contracts is like me trading 1 micro, right? It just depends. So 10 contracts is $3,000. That's a $3,000 day, right? Again, you know, let's not worry about all that, but that's just to show you that you just need a piece. This is $1,500 waiting to happen, waiting for you to have the skill set to do it. Just got to believe in it. And yeah, it would be nice to have gotten in somewhere down here, and we'll get into some potential entries. But again, I'm very excited today because, again, I didn't make much money, but it was such a great day of learning and seeing the chart, and very grateful for this. It's always nice to not lose too. It's always nice to, you know, be right? So I was bullish, and it's nice that, and I wanted to see the sell-off, right? And it's very nice to see it play out perfectly. It's like reading a book, you know, you see it happen, and it's just, you know, it's nice to be right. So very nice day. So getting into the day. Again, enough rambling about that. We have the power of 3, we sell off. And going into the day, I was expecting to see a sell-off for a few reasons. One reason, we completely disrespected this bullish imbalance. Let me see if we had it. I don't think we had an SMT. Let me go. Let me look. My ES charts on my laptop. I have a monitor right here. So I'm trying to pull up and see if we had an SMT. We did have an SMT. So we had an SMT on ES and Q from here. So going into the day, it actually made sense that we were bearish, right? Because we're holding these imbalances, right? We have an SMT at the high. Did we have another SMT at 1830, 27? 1830. Where was that? 27. 1830. So we didn't have another SMT, but we had a bigger time frame SMT. Let's see. We were holding this 1 hour imbalance. And what is this? This is all low resistance liquidity right here. It's all low resistance liquidity. I wouldn't say low resistance, but we had this liquidity built up and this trend, right? And I wanted to see these lows get ran, preferably this one in this 4 hour imbalance, to then complete the curve. Because what do we have on the bigger time frame? We have another SMT. So this is just very clearly bullish in my opinion. We have an SMT here. We have an SMT here, so it confirms that we're going to run the low resistance. And you start building these pieces together, and you start making up a bias in your head. And again, charts don't have to do what you draw up for them to do. You just don't get a trade, right? If it doesn't do what you're looking for it to do, then why would you take the trade? Because you didn't expect it to happen. So why, you know what I mean? So it's all in what you're expecting, right? So we have this trend line that I'm expecting to break if you go into the day. So if we're going to the day here, we already started to break it. We disrespect this fair value gap. We have the SMT. So even though I'm bullish, I wanted to see this low and these lows get ran. So what happens on open? Open happens like this. So off open, we rip, take the high, we create an SMT. Very nice. We sell off. We take out the low. We leave this low down here. That's just a target for later. Don't worry about it. You'll miss trades if you get super caught up in lows and highs, and you just got to trade what the chart tells you. All this tells me is that we'll come back to revisit this low at some point, right? And then when we get down there, it'll just be even more confidence. So that was the higher time frame bias. And then we'll go into what happens down here. So what happened down here is we had this big sell-off. This was very quick, a very quick 60 points. 1, 2, 3 minutes. We have 60-point sell-off. We take out the low over here. And why this low isn't too important. If this ever loads, this chart takes so long to load. Just know that there's lows over here. All right, it's not that rocket science, right? We had an SMT at the low here, so this is the first sign of bullish momentum. Well, the first sign was actually this fair value gap we created. We start holding it. We come up, little 3 drive pattern here. We sell off, right? We never take this low, and that's important because that gives you that's the first bullish confluence. It's the first sign of a bullish reversal because ES sold off, and ES sold off to take out this low. So ES sold off to take sell side liquidity, which is bullish confluence, sweeping out a low, and we held bullish here. So then when we get this push up, this is a low for value, but it doesn't matter. We have displacement. This SMT doesn't matter unless we get this type of move up. We get a 23-point displacement candle. We close above the bodies with an SMT. We've already sold off from open. We've sold off almost 100 points. We've taken out liquidity. We're bullish on the higher time frame. This is what you want to see. So you see the move up, comes up, displaces. We create this 5-minute fair value gap. So we create this 5-minute bullish fair value gap right here. You can see it on that candle there. And this is where I take my first trade, right? I take my first trade off this 1-minute inverse. This trade was a break-even trade for me. The reason being is that when we tap this 5-minute fair value gap and we inverse this, I know we will see this high. So I know, nothing's guaranteed in the market, guys, obviously. Nothing's guaranteed. I don't know it's going to go there. It doesn't have to. But I knew that if it went here, I could get to break even. So that's exactly what I did. I got in on the close, 5-minute tap, bullish higher time frame confluence. We get in on the close. It trades to the high, and I moved to break even. Because I know, honestly, this is an experience and screen time thing. I know that I shouldn't lose on this trade. I could have put my stop to here and took a small loss. But I know that if we reject this high, especially like this, that I don't want to be in the trade because a lot of my experience has told me that the first move, right? The first move up normally has some type of manipulation. The first retracement and then pump up normally has some type of manipulation. Maybe we come back down to lows. I did want to see this low down here get taken, the 4-hour fair value gap. There's a few things in my mind of like, okay, we could come back down, but I was fine taking the trade because I knew that it could go higher and it could rip straight up, but normally you don't see a big sell-off and a big buy-up, right? I was expecting to see sell-off and just a run straight up, so I act on the trade, but I move aggressively to break even, and in this case, it's good. Sometimes I get into a trade and I get to break even way too quick. With this specific trade, because it was the first setup, the first entry, you always want to be a little more on this type of entry, right? If we had a fair value gap down here, you don't have to be as scared because this is the low of the day, right? But when you're up here in the middle of this price leg, the reason you're being careful is because you're in equilibrium for shorts. We could have just retraced to go lower. So the reason you be careful is because it's the first setup, not at the low or the high. So the first setup is high likelihood that's going to fail. It's just an experience thing. So I'm really happy with how I execute here. We trade up and we get stopped out break even. There was no emotion whatsoever about me getting stopped at break even. And in fact, I actually took this trade on lower size, right? I took it on 3 micros, which the reason being is because I was expecting to have to go break even and get stopped at break even. So I knew that I wasn't willing to risk full size on a trade that I was more than likely going to get stopped at break even. So why would I risk losing if I was more than likely just going to get a break even stop? Another confluence for this trade was that we inversed this 5-minute fair value gap here. So when this 5-minute gets formed, we inverse here. So again, I did well. Sometimes I used to make mistakes. I'm honestly moving completely away from longing 5-minute inverses. This one would have worked. It would have held. It would have been kind of sketchy. But I don't really like longing them. This would have ended up being 40 points. And if you got in on the fair value gap tap, and if that's how you trade, 56 points, that's a great trade. Whatever. I don't like taking them. All right, so I waited for the pullback. I waited for another entry, and we got the other entry. Stopped at break even. I lowered size because of the conditions, because of the first entry, because of confidence. I did exactly what I needed to. So what do? We come back down after stops us out. This is what I would call a turtle soup, where we just sweep this low completely. We just grab it inside an area where we expect to go higher. So this is the manipulation I would expect. So we get manipulation at this low because, again, the first move, take the high, we get manipulation, come down, we manipulate a low, we hold strong bullish momentum, and this would be a good trade that if you got in somewhere around here after taking the low, you get out the high, nice 25 points, day done, an amazing trade, right? A 5-minute bullish, an area you expect to reverse, a manipulation, you're bullish because of the higher time frame, and this, the big displacement up, that's a solid trade, right? And then the re-entry on this trade, or the second entry, was in this fair value gap right here. You go long off that, and you get 10 points. I'm not the biggest fan of that trade, but that is the re-entry. The first fair value gap held, which if you're in a bullish trade or bearish trade, the first fair value gap, what I've been noticing a lot and what I've been learning and building confidence with is that the first fair value gap should hold, right? Take with that a grain of salt and do your own backtesting studying. But a lot of times the first fair value gap is king. And then when we take out this high, we have an SMT. So even though I was expecting this high, I was expecting that maybe we weren't going to go straight to it. So I was hoping selfishly that we come back down lower, get a really, really good entry, but we come down a little algorithmically. We tap the 5-minute again, but we have another SMT. This was probably the best trade of the day for inverse fair value gaps. We have all the confluence of, I think we inversed the 15 minute at this point. Let me check, right? Actually, no, we don't. We pretty much inverse the 15 minute. This is at not 10:30. So let me just mark out the 15 minute. So the 2-minute chart, though, is where we'll go to. And so on the 2-minute chart, if it loads, again, I was having problems with my Wi-Fi earlier. So we close. Okay. So we almost closed it here at 10:30. We almost closed the 15-minute. It was pretty much enough to where I count it as disrespecting the fair value gap. But anyways, we come back down, we create SMT, and what do we have here? We have an inverse fair value gap. I didn't take this. To be honest, I'm not really sure why. Actually, no, I am sure why. I'll get into it. This is a nice setup, though. The risk is really nice here. And you get full take profits there. This would have been a great setup. It would have got kind of sketchy here. You've been close to getting break even. You know what? And I'm not mad about not taking it because it is what it is. Again, you only need a piece of the pie, right? This trade, though, we have the SMT inside the fair value gap, inside this inverse of the 5-minute, and we inverse here, so you jump in longs. The reason I don't like it, and it didn't jump out at me, is that this fair value gap's not obvious. We also had one here, so I'm completely fine not taking it. Moving on, though, we pump up. I'm still expecting this high because, again, I'm bullish. This is bullish. The sweep of liquidity is bullish. This is bullish. This is the little roadblock, and then we get displacement higher to this high. We leave the high, which I was so excited about because I thought it was going to selfishly. I thought it was going to leave without me. This 15-minute fair value gap finally gets disrespected completely, and we open a 15-minute fair value gap here. And we opened a 5-minute. So if you can notice, I have these red lines on the 5-minute bullish, so that I didn't have two boxes because then we had the 15-minute. So I knew at this point that the drawn liquidity was, the buy side liquidity was up here, right? So I knew that if this fair value gap, this 5-minute, which is the red lines, the 5-minute, or the 15-minute did not hold, I was probably going to turn off the charts, call it a day, because there really wasn't anything I would be looking at, because this is based on structure. This displacement here, we hold, turtle soup, and SMT inverse, displace higher. yes, we could manipulate lower again, but at that point, I would be a little bit less confident in the move. So we fill the fair value gap perfectly, absolutely perfectly. We hold, and my first entry, which looking back isn't amazing. I was having some issues with my chart, which you'll see on the execution recap, which I'll go into. But I took it on 1 micro, and the reason being I trade 5 micros typically, which is my full size. But I took it on 1 micro because I like the displacement, I like the inverse, I like the hold here, and I was expecting higher. It's not a great trade just because there is a fair value gap here, so it's not singular. It did its job. I got in here, it held the fair value gap, and it displaced lower. So at that point, I took a small loss on 1 micro, and I was like, okay, cool. Let me look at what the chart's giving me. Okay, we have a 2-minute fair value gap here. We're still in this bullish. If this inverses, I'll get back in. We also had a 3-minute fair value gap right here. So I was looking to take this 3-minute inverse, which again, we do right here. So I get back into longs with, again, 1 micro, because it was just a 1 micro type of day. I'll get into that. We close above, I'm not sure where the 3-minute closes, but we close above probably here or here, wherever. I get in longs off the 3-minute with 1 micro, still risking small size. And I was going to add a micro when the 2-minute closed. So the 2-minute closed here, I believe. So the 2-minute closed here, so it got my fill nice in here. And I targeted this high because I know that we'll at least get to break even. We go to break even. We get to break even. It actually kind of came down, and then I moved my stop loss to this low. I can't go over it because this thing shows up. But I moved my stop loss to this candle's low right here. I moved it to there after it pumped up because I knew it should go. And then it went and went and went. Really wicked it quick, but that was a trade. And that was very, very nice trade. Now I'll get into why I took smaller size. Took smaller size, a little bit lack of confidence. Had a tough week last week. So today, all honesty, today I made $14, right? Because I traded micros. I took 1 loss. I took a break even. And I got out of this trade slightly early. I got out of this high on one of them and then got out like here. I'll go over. I'll do the review. We'll get into that. That was bad. We'll go over the mistakes. I was trading 1 micro, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I really enjoyed trading that 1 micro because I was able to just focus on the execution, not worry about a loss, not worry about if it didn't work. I was even telling myself in my head, I was like, okay, this trade right here, especially when it closed up here, I was like, okay, if this trade doesn't work, I'm completely fine. I was going to lose $40, so 10 points on 2 micros. I was like, look, I'm completely fine losing here. This is a trade I like. Let's hold the trade. Let's hold the trade. Let's hold the trade. This is good. We had a 2-minute fair value gap that I was holding. So I was like, okay, this is still good. We're still respecting bullish fair value gaps. Like, there's nothing bad about this. Just don't worry about the trade. If it doesn't work, it's no big deal. The world's not going to end. And I held the trade. I put my stop under this fair value gap. And I held it, and it worked out. And I could have capitalized more. But I really enjoyed trading small size because it gave me that freedom to just be calm and be like, okay, look, this trade doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? And that's how I need to get with my trading so that I can trade 2 full contracts, 5 full contracts, 10 full contracts, whatever it may be. The sky is the limit, but it should all feel the same, right? The same way, so my full size is 5 micros. Eventually my full size will be 1 full contract. And then, 3, 4 micros will feel like nothing. And then I'll take 2 full contracts, and then 5 micros will feel like absolutely nothing, right? So it's just all relation to what your tolerance is, and you just have to get used to that. And that's what I'm trying to do, and that's why I was pretty excited today about how I traded it. But yeah, again, you just need a piece of it. So today was a great day, even though I made $14, right? I mean, it's not generational wealth. That's not why people get into trading. But people get into trading for this, the days where you can spot this move and be patient for it and not get scared and have a good day. So let's go over the mistakes I made. First mistake, I would say this trade's not the best, right? I would say this trade is a B, right? Maybe, yeah, just a B. right? We didn't have an SMT. We did have displacement. We did N versus 5 minute. It's a B, right? We tap the 5 minute bullish. We go here. Break even's quick. Whatever. Maybe a B plus, right? Who knows? No real mistake on this trade. I like how I traded it, right? Next up, a mistake I made was not taking this trade, but it's also not a big mistake, so I don't mind that one. We're getting a big sell-off here on yes. But no real mistake here. I don't mind not taking this. And this trade here, I would say that this is a mistake because we had another fair value gap. We also had a 2 minute above. We had a 3 minute. I should have waited for the higher time frame to close. When we had 2 fair value gaps anyways, I should have waited for the higher time frame to close. But my other mistake was just getting out early. I'll have to look at the execution and see what I did exactly. But other than that, great trade. We took it the buy side. If we displaced through buy side, then you could have expect higher. But we didn't displace through it, and now you'd expect that this would be... Ooh, do we have an SMT there? Oh my gosh. 12.15. 12.15. So we have an SMT here. That's solid. Now we're selling off. So, yeah, I mean, now it's kind of hit or miss. It's about 1. I'm not looking to trade anymore. I got what I needed. But, yeah, this is a very clean trade. I mean, based on what I learned from Justin's Discord when I was in there, this is the original consolidation. This is sell side of the curve right here. And then, let's see, we can just go here probably. This is sell side of the curve with the original consolidation. And this is the buy side of the curve that played out. Very clean model, the original consolidation here. So the original consolidation, manipulation, power of 3, played out, take out liquidity, have an SMT at the low, sign of reversal. We come up, we hold the fair value gap, we make an SMT, we displace higher, we see the high. This is beautiful, dude. Okay, so genuinely study buy side and sell side of the curve. You'll notice that these signs of reversals are typical. It would have been cleaner inside this 4-hour fair value gap, but this is so clean, right? We take out liquidity. We have the original consolidation. We're bullish on the higher time frame. We displace higher. I mean, this is so nice to see because it's like it's genuinely like opening up a book and reading it and seeing it happen in front of your eyes. It's so nice. Getting rid of the charts here. Actually, no, I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of this stuff. Here we go. But it's so nice to see because this is just beautiful, right? Just go through this, study other days like this, look for this, and the experience will come. Like everything will come with time, right? Everything will come with time. This is a beautiful day, beautiful trade recap. This is already feels like really long, so I'm going to end it here. A few last things that I gotta say real quick. Saturday, Sunday, I said in the last video I was going to post Saturday my executions, and then I said Sunday I was going to do like a talking video, and then I could have even done that Monday. I got really lazy. I'm not even going to lie. I was so lazy. I was just playing FIFA and going to the beach. Whatever. I was being lazy, right? I need to change that. I'm trying to work on that. Take accountability for that. I was just being lazy, right? There's no excuse. There's no reason. No one cares, right? It doesn't matter that I didn't post the video, but I said I was going to post something and I didn't do it. So that's on me. In the talking video, I want to talk about some topics I would talk about in this if I didn't already ramble for so long. But we'll get some more videos out in general. But yeah, again, like I said, Saturday, Sunday, probably not Saturday if I'm being completely honest because of the Champions League final. Depending on what happens in the Champions League final, you can guarantee a video on Sunday. We'll be talking and we'll get into it. But yeah, there's a lot more I want to talk about, but this review, again, has already been pretty long, and I'll leave it there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Great day. Hope you guys had a good day, too. And if you didn't win on the day, I hope you learned something. Very good, very fun day. Just great day to be alive. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.